What is up? Hope you're having a great day. Hey, if this is your first time here, my name's Tim. This is the Tim O Show, and we do side hustle related content. We try to keep you positive, try to keep you motivated. And today's video is the 7th episode of the Quarantine Podcast, or Meet the Creator. I think I've been changing the name every episode. But anyways, it's the 7th episode of this series. And I have a guest today who's hilarious. He has 7 or 8 vending machines. I think he has 8 vending machines. He's been in the game for 2 years, so we're going to pick his brain, gain some knowledge, and yeah, it's going to be great. You're going to have some laughs too, so you're going to love this. Hey, stick around and don't go anywhere. Hey. All right, dude. Thanks so much for making the time to be on the podcast today. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
All right, well, thank you for having me. My name is Lonzo. On social media, on YouTube and Instagram, it's Lonzo's Loot. That's just a name that I came up with. But yeah, on Instagram and YouTube, it's Lonzo's Loot. I'm 19 years old, based out of Las Vegas. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for making the time to do this. We've been friends for a while on YouTube. I've been following you for a long time. And I noticed recently you started doing different things on your channel besides just vending, right?
Yeah, so the thing with that is, I started my channel off doing with vending. You can see the whole transition of when I started just with one machine and painting that machine, and then to where I'm at now. But the thing is, since I can't really do vending every day, I'm not that big yet. Then I'm, just started to do different things like selling on eBay and other stuff like that I'm experimenting with.
So did you have a YouTube channel before you started vending, or did you start the channel for vending?
I actually so this channel that I have now was a different channel. It used to be called Alonzo Gamer Home, and so then I just kind of abandoned that for a little bit. But then once I got back into vending, then I was able to record while I was out and while I was working, and so then that's where I started picking it up back up again.
Okay. So was there one like a certain video that made you want to start vending?
Yeah, so it actually all started with Reyes. When his video started blowing up and I saw it, I was like, you know what? Like, I could do that. Like, it doesn't seem hard. So I went on OfferUp and I started looking at it, and I actually bought 3 machines for $200. And so that's basically what started me. And where I worked at before, I used to work at a bakery, making cakes, some that I got. And I asked the owner, and I was like, hey, can I put it here? And he already had another location, like another bakery. And he was like, well, I can't put it in this main one, but talk to the manager in the other store, which I was really good friends with, and ask them. And I was like, all right, I'll ask them. And then that was my very first location, which was February of 2019.
So once you get that first location, did you start getting like really excited, like a lot of motivation to kind of get, did you want more machines? I mean, how'd that go for you?
Yeah, so I still remember. So I didn't have my car back then. So I was still asking my mom, like, hey, can you drive me here? Can you drive me there? And so she works in a hospice and home health, and she has to like make her rounds and like go pick up like doctor's notes and whatnot. And so she was actually on that side of town where where my first machine was. And so I went with her. And after my first collection and we came back, we stopped at another spot, and I asked them and they said yes. And so that's where I got my second location. And then the next time that I went to go collect, after that, I was stopped at another spot. And then ever since then, I just kept going.
Dude, it's addicting. So I remember watching your video, man, it must have been like a year ago, but I remember watching you go in and you had your camera on, and it was like facing the ground, and you pitched, I want to put a location. You're like, okay, great. And you like walk to your car and you get in your car, and then you're like, yeah, like you like,
when you're first starting now, you just, all the excitement.
You want to be professional, right? Like they said yes, and you're like,
okay, like, oh yes, thank you very much. I'll bring the machine. And then you get in the car, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, I did the same thing. So I'm screaming.
Yeah, and another story with that. I'm gonna embarrass myself here a little bit, but Dominic came up with that challenge to place a machine in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And so I was like, what's the best way to go than to the strip? There's so many local businesses there. And so I stopped at this one tattoo shop, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, is the owner here? And he was like, oh yeah, he's in the bathroom. And I was like, all right, cool. They're not going to take long. It was like, I waited for like at least 10 minutes, and I was like, yo, what, this is the biggest dookie I've ever seen, And I was like, oh, you know what, man, I'll come back, like I'm gonna be in the area. And so then I was driving, and then I made a U-turn, and I stopped at another tattoo shop, which was literally like a quarter mile away. And I went in there and I asked, I was like, hey, can I speak to the manager or the owner? And like, I actually made a video on this, so if you guys want to go check that out. and it was like, I'm the owner. And then I looked to my left, and there was an empty machine. Like, it was dirty, it was empty, and I was like, I gagged a little bit. I was like, "Huh," you know. And then I asked, I was like, hey, I own a vending machine business, and I noticed that's empty.
Looking like crap.
Yeah, it was like me in the morning. Like, it was just horrible. And then she was like, well, what other machines do you have? And in my head, I already knew like that's potential for like other machines. And I was like, oh, right now I only have candy machines. And she was like, yeah, I have 4 other locations. I have 3 other locations.
Oh, so like 3 other businesses.
Yeah, she owns 4 shops they're all like within a mile of each other. So it makes
Okay.
my collection super easy. But yeah, she was like, I have 3 other locations if you can put one in each one, because she's like, I don't know what happened to these guys. They abandoned it and this and that. And
Dude,
so
cool.
after that, I had 2 with me, I think. And so I was like, yeah, I'll place them like today. I'll place them right now. But once I got in my car, I was like having a meltdown. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I just got 4 locations. Then I called my mom and I told her, and like I was tearing up. I was like, this is big.
That's so great, dude. What a cool story. So you started young, right? Because you were saying you started your gaming channel and you got your location. You didn't have a license yet or anything. So I know how old you are, but let the audience know how old you are.
Yeah, so right now I'm 19. When I placed my first location, I was 18. So yeah, basically started young. So right now I have all the energy, all the time.
All
Not
the
so much the
look,
funds, but even the
not
looks.
so much.
Yeah, but yeah, I have the energy and the time to be doing all this. So I'm trying to scale this as much as I can. But obviously, right now with everything going on, it's kind of hard. But I'm still trying to put in the work.
I'll tell you what, bro, at 18 and 19, I was not focusing on starting a business whatsoever, man. And I see a lot of you guys, you younger dudes, and I really envy you guys because I wish I could go back in time, 20 wwhatever years and have the kind of motivation that you guys have to get out there, put yourselves out there and start a business. Now, I think it's awesome, man, because where I grew up, there was nobody out there trying to make moves at 18, 19. Everybody's kind of
Mm-hmm.
screwing around still. So it's really cool seeing you guys. And, like I said, I have a daughter that's about the same age as you, and she's a little hustler too. So I love seeing that. So being 19, has there been any kind of hardships that you've encountered with starting a vending machine business?
I have. Part of it is, since I'm so young, I don't have all the experience, and so when I go and pitch my locations out, uh, I can tell that they don't really trust me as much. I've had a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, like you have a business card, I'll call you back," and they just don't call me back. But then there's like other times where like they see that like since I'm at a young age and I'm out here hustling, like they can trust me. But then at the same time, like you just get those different points of views, and there's people that will try to help you out and be like, yeah, you can put a machine here, or there's people that will like just try to take as much of you as you can. Like there was one time where I would try to go. I was pitching honor boxes, and I went to the Mexican restaurant and I asked this guy like, hey, I do honor boxes, I do this and that. Can I place him here? And he was like, oh, we already have some. And I saw, and they already had a honor box, but I saw that there was space for a candy machine. And when I asked the guy, he was like, yeah, you can put one as long as I get 50%. I was like, dude, I'm not trying to pay you to put the machine here. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
there's still enough to like split it, but at 50%, it's
I mean,
not.
that's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. So it's like 50 on the reactions you get from potential location owners. They see your age and some are willing or some are excited that you're in there. Like the way I am, I see a young guy trying to get out there and hustle. Like, so you get some yeses from that, but then also it's like the other 50% are kind of like, this is a young kid. He don't know what he's doing
Yeah.
type of situation. Right. All right. I see. So I know in your channel, you also refurbished some old machines. You want to talk about that a little bit and how that went and what kind of materials like you
Yeah.
used?
So the very first machine that I bought and I placed, um, the only reason why I refurbished that one is because the owner was more concerned on the decoration. They wanted to keep it consistent, and the machine that I had was all black, and the colors that they're based off are like royal blue and like or baby blue and white. And so I was like, well, I'll paint it. I'll refurbish this one. And so it came out nice. And so that was the very first machine that I like painted and made it look nice, just so I can place a machine for, like get a location for. And then another machine that I redid, it was an abandoned machine. uh I made sure that the owners were not going to come back for it, because when I got this location, I always use that, like, if there's another machine there and it's abandoned, I use that as a point of reference, like, hey, I noticed that machine is empty and is not taken care of. Can I place one here? And I always say I come by regularly, like monthly or something like that, just so they can gain a little more trust. And so
Yeah.
when I first placed that, I asked them, like, hey, how long has it been? And the lady said, oh, well, that's been there like probably like 8 months.
Wow.
And then I started going every month, and every time that I went, I would ask, like, hey, have they come by? Have you called them? She's like, oh, I called them, but they never pick up. And so then probably like 6 months went by that I placed my machine, and I told the lady, I was like, hey, like, it's basically abandoned. Like, I'm gonna take it if they come by. That's a big if. It's been
Yeah.
so long. I was like, my number's on the back of the machine. Have them call me. I'll pay them for it, or we'll negotiate something out. And to
Yeah.
this day, they still haven't called me or anything. And but with that machine, it was like a baby bluish, and whatever paint that I had left from my old machine that I used to paint white and blue, I used that same paint to basically refurbish this one, and I would say it came out even better than what
So
it
I noticed you
was
use spray
originally.
paint. So I've always been curious. I've never actually refinished the machine myself, but I have seen a lot of videos of
Mhm.
the machines being re. So does the spray paint? How durable is that? Because I feel like I'm just curious. I'm curious, how does it last a long time, and does it peel or nick
So
off?
far, I haven't noticed any damage. I haven't noticed any peeling. Uh,
Okay.
I guess you just gotta, you gotta get the right paint. But the paint that I've used, I made sure it was for the same material. I made sure it was for metal. I made sure to put primer on it. I made sure to do everything just to make sure that the paint will stick on there. Because obviously you don't want to get candy out of a candy machine that has like chip paint or anything like that. So I always
Yeah, because
I
even
made
if
sure
it's
to
nice,
get the best quality.
you want to make sure they get the best quality. Correct. Yeah, you're very right. So what's your motivation? Like, what motivates you to keep getting out there and checking on them? Like, do you like the money side more, or do you like the actual just kind of getting out there and doing it more?
I've thought about this before. There's two main reasons why this motivates me. One, the money, right?
Yeah, of course, the money is always there.
Like, ever since middle school, I've loved making money. It's not really so much the amount. I like the fact of like going out and working for the money, right? Like, I've sold candies in middle school and high school. I've sold this and that. Like, I just like the fact of making it. I really don't care as much as the amount. And then the other reason why is because I get to drive, location to location, and every time I drive, it's just like, for me, it's soothing. I get to put on my music. I get to sing. It's just me, And then when I'm collecting the money, I see that, so it's like, best of both worlds. And I write everything down. I write when I collected, how much I collected, and then for each machine, I write how much that machine has collected in total. And then at the very end, I write how much I've collected for the day.
And you have like this all in a book.
It's all like on a Google Docs form.
Okay.
Yeah, all the data. So if I'm on the go, I just write, I just plug it into my phone, and then at the very end, when I'm like at home and counting, I'm just sitting in front of my computer and I just punch it in through there.
Okay. I know you're friends with a lot of the vending machine channels, right? You're pretty good friends with Dominic Barbado and Jaime Ibanez.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's so cool, man. It's nice. Yeah, it's a cool community. Everybody pretty much sticks together and kind of helps each other out when they can.
Oh yeah.
So, if you had to pick one thing and say that was the biggest lesson that you've learned since you started the vending, like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned? Like, somebody that's getting ready to start, do you have something that you could tell them to kind of maybe look out for or to be ready for or anything like that? Any advice?
Um, Something I would say, not every location is a good location.
Absolutely.
Cause I had a spot where it made like 250 in a month,
Oh, yeah, I remember
which
that.
is it's just like really bad. Yeah, I made another video on this one, and then I went to collect again, and I think it made like $1 or like 50 cents.
Did you pull it? Did you pull the location after that
Oh yeah,
one?
right away,
Right away.
right away. Like, yeah, like not every location is gonna be a great location, but if you're starting out, it's worth the experience. But then obviously once you're bigger and you're like, it's just not worth your time to go collect like 50 cents out of a machine.
So what do you think the takeaway would be is make sure you kind of are shopping locations that have decent traffic, because like you're saying, say you get that location and you're super excited, you're like, woo, got my first location, I'm pumped, and then you go back and there's like $2 in there, and then you give it another month and you go back and there's $1 in there. Now you got to throw away all that candy or bring it home. Now you got to eat all that stale candy. That's kind of a bummer, right? So how is there any way that you could suggest to like avoid maybe that happening?
One way that you could probably tell if a location is good or not, it's all depends on like foot traffic and what kind of location it is. Because the place that I went to, it was a like financial services. The parking lot was like it's decently busy because they got a big name store there. But when I walked in, just everybody is like talking to customers through the phone, and obviously at first, like any location is good to start off, but you could always tell by like foot traffic and like what type of location it is. Like you can tell when their busiest times are, like tax firms and stuff like that. You can tell like they're only busy throughout a certain amount of time in the year.
So do you have any full line machines, or do you just have the gumball machines?
Right now I have 2 soda machines and 1 snack machine.
All right, you haven't made no videos with the soda machines, right? Well, I think I've seen
my first one I have, yeah.
It's not just like a soda machine collection; it's just the all.
Yeah, it's just overall, because I have that one in with my other gumball machine route, and so like since it's all there, I just collect that along the way with everything else.
Awesome. So if you had to give somebody advice on how to get locations, which do you think is the better method? The walk-in method, the cold call method, or the email method? And with email, I guess I would mean also like that would kind of be including Facebook, like hitting them up through Facebook or DMs on Instagram.
Yeah, so I've had more, I would say like sell-through rates. I've had more success with just going in, walking in, because they get to see me. I get to talk to them in person. I've tried emailing certain places, like if I go in and try to go in person and the owner's not there and I get their email. I've tried emailing them like that. I haven't really had much success with that. I'm gonna be honest. I've never tried cold calling. Like I've had leads. Like I've had someone like give me like literally a list of like a bunch of different businesses, but I've never really like sat down and called businesses.
So we're getting ready to wrap up the interview, Lonzo, and I got a couple more questions. One of the questions is, so you have full line, you have bulk machines, and you also have honor boxes, right? You do the charity honor boxes. What's your favorite out of those 3?
My favorite, I would probably say probably bulk.
And why is that?
The reason being, so with full line, there's just a lot of product you got to carry, even though
the upfront cost to stock it and stuff.
Yeah, so there's that, and also like just the fact like you got to carry a bunch of product with you, even though you get more money out of it. You got to carry all this and that, and then honor boxes, you just got to deal with a lot of boxes.
Yeah,
which is sometimes a little annoying, but I mean, it still raises up a little bit of money. But I want to say with bulk, all I have to do is carry my keys and like a tub of candy, like when I go in. So all I got to do, if it needs to be refilled, because there's spots that I have where sometimes I don't even need to refill them. They're like halfway or like a quarter of the way, and I could probably leave it. And so sometimes I don't even need to fill it, and there's still like $30 or $20 in the machine. So all I'm really doing is just collecting the money.
That's great, dude. So how many locations do you have total?
Oh, total. So I have, if I try to remember, 9 bulk. I have 2 full line, and I think 8 honor boxes.
Nice, dude. And what if you had like ballpark, like what is that? What does that usually bring in, like per month or whatever?
In the slower part of the year, probably like winter and whatnot, I could probably, if I do a collection on everything within a month, probably make somewhere between $300 and $400, and I can just do all that in a day.
That's
but
awesome.
Then in the busier months like summer, because some of the locations that I have are by the strip, really big with the tourists, probably closer to like 400 to 500 in a month.
Nice. Well, that's great, man. So we're gonna wrap up the video here. I want to say thanks again for being here. But before we let everybody go, is there any last minute advice or last minute thing you want to tell anybody out there watching?
Locate, locate, and locate.
Locate, locate, locate. We might just have to make that the word of the day, right?
Right.
If you guys are still watching, make sure you put locate, locate, locate in the comment section below. But remember, not all locations are created equal, right?
Exactly. When you're starting out, great for experience.
Yeah, great for experience.
But once you're bigger and you have a lot of, your time is precious, you know, once you're bigger and you have more locations, then that's when everything matters. That's when all locations, like, if they don't make over a certain amount in a month, I'm pulling it, because it's just not worth my time anymore.
Hey, do you think after a while, once you get some money saved up or whatever, do you have any interest in getting into the amusement vending? I
started in amusement, but that didn't work out so well. With the claw machine, with that lesson, now I know to buy better quality machines. Yeah. But I will definitely go back, and profit margins are huge.
The profit margins are huge on the arcade.
And all I gotta do is take in a bag of plush and collect money, and that's it.
Even the video game ones are even better, and they're kind of coming back in popularity, which is kind of cool because, you know, everybody can play video games on your phone, but there's still some kind of like
nostalgia and like.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I think you nailed it. Nostalgia. I think that's what it is. So it's kind of coming back. People are willing to shove some quarters into a stupid electronic video game or whatever. So, hey, everybody, this will be the end of the video, but don't forget to go visit Lonzo's Loot. He's got a great channel. He does a lot of info. There's a lot of value on there, and it's not just vending. He does comedy skits, and not just kidding. But every video pretty much got some comedy in it. So if you like laughing, go visit Lonzo. I'll leave a link in the top of the description below, and go show him some love, you guys.
Go show me some love, guys. I need it, especially in this time of quarantine. I get no love.
No love. Go touch his channel. Make him happy. And hey, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Lonzo.
Thank you, guys. See you guys.